Chapter 1. A Father's Shield. Dorn awoke in the dark abyss, a realm devoid of stars. It mirrored the emptiness he felt, a son without his father's guidance. His first thought was to contact his sons, to order his withdrawal so he could rejoin the fight. But what fight? The details eluded him, slipping through his grasp like sand through fingers. A master of details, yet now his mind was a void, as if his past had become an eternity away and lost to him. Surveying his surroundings, Dorn's eyes fixated on a faint light amidst the oppressive darkness. It pulsed weakly, a solitary beacon in the desolate expanse. With a sense of determination, he rose to his feet and began to tread towards it, the uncertainty of his surroundings morphing and shifting with each step. What appeared as a tree one moment might transform into a house or a car the next. As he journeyed towards the elusive light, memories stirred within him, memories of a day that stretched into eternity, the day his father was maimed, his brothers slain, their blood staining the sands of a distant desert. Dorn could feel the weight of his failures bearing down upon him, a burden he had carried since the betrayal of Horus and the death of Sanguinius. Though the surroundings bore no resemblance to the desert of his previous imprisonment, Dorn sensed a familiar presence lurking in the shadows, a malevolent force that whispered of captivity and despair. The warp, alive and restless, pulsed with an energy that sent shivers down his spine. Alone and without aid, Dorn pressed forward, his steps quickening as he tried to draw closer to the light. It was the only beacon of hope in this sea of darkness. Part 2. Indomitable Dorn pressed on through the biting cold, his journey stretching on for what felt like an eternity. The faint light ahead showed no sign of growing closer, but still, he continued. It was the essence of who he was, unyielding, indomitable. So long as there was strength in his body, his soul would not yield. The first time he glimpsed Sanguinius, it was like a dagger to his heart. His brother wore a sad smile, a bittersweet sight that nearly brought Dorn to tears. He rushed towards him, desperate to reach out and grasp him, only for the angelic figure to dissolve into blinding light. Once again, Dorn found himself robbed of his brother, the ache of loss renewed with agonizing clarity. Not even a word exchanged between them, yet Dorn would have stormed the Eye of Terror itself if it meant hearing his brother's voice once more. His father? The thought was too painful to bear. Dorn pushed it aside, focusing instead on the solitary path ahead. He walked in silence, the only sounds the crunch of his boots against the frozen ground and the distant whimpers and cries echoing in the shadows. At first, he tried to track the source of the mournful sounds, but they eluded him like ghosts in the darkness. They would manifest beside him, clawing at his legs and weeping endlessly, yet he could never see them. He couldn't help them, couldn't ease their suffering. They were lost souls, condemned to wander this frozen abyss alongside him for all eternity. But they weren't what truly worried him.
But when does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? When does a ripple become a tidal wave? When does the reason become the blame? When does a man become a monster?
I wait for you, and I forgive you.